Wilson's not here either. So
I'd like to call to order the Municipality of Monroeville's Citizens Night for May 3rd, 2018. If we'd all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All of council is present, other than Councilperson Arasinko, who was under the weather this evening. We have a proclamation at the start of the meeting here. We have some special guests in attendance. We have a proclamation for the American Legion Gold Star Post 820 Honor Guard. Whereas the Monroeville American Legion Gold Star Post 820 is the single post in the state of Pennsylvania to be named in honor of our Gold Star mothers who lost an offspring or spouse in battle. And whereas the American Legion is dedicated to supporting our American troops and veterans, and whereas the Honor Guard was formed to fulfill the need for a proper military service to perform the final honors for deceased veterans in a manner fitting their sacrifices given to the United States of America. And whereas the American Legion Gold Star Post 820's Honor Guard was assembled in 1995 to serve and honor the deceased who served in the United States Armed Forces, and whereas Post 820's Honor Guard is led by Captain Joseph M. Paradiso, who has been with the Honor Guard since its 1995 inception. And whereas, through freezing cold, pouring rain, or sweltering heat, the American Legion Gold Star Post 820 Honor Guard has provided a proper military service for over 4,000 funerals of those having served in the armed forces of the United States of America. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Nicholas J. Griesok, Mayor of Monroeville, Pennsylvania, hereby proclaim May 2018 as American Legion Gold Star Post 820 Honor Guard Month and commend them for their service to our country, service members, veterans, and their families. Let's give a round of applause. Now we have the Honor Guard in attendance here, and we have Regis Dugan, the Post Commander. And Commander Dugan has some awards, some meritorious service awards for the Honor Guard.
Mr. Roman is not here.
Okay. We have Robert Babylon.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. Charles Gilkey.
Thank you for your service. He's here.
John Ringdahl.
we got to run. My name wrong.
Leon Shank.
Thank you.
Thank you, Leon.
Mr. Toth is not here.
And Leonard Young. And for a Distinguished Service Award, Joseph M. Paradiso. And Joseph's the commander of the Honor Guard.
Rich.
Yeah, I told you. Yeah.
There's this.
Thank you. should we just read the names of the others who are not here?
Sure. We have a Ronald Toth, who could not be with us this evening. Thomas Fraggle, couldn't be here this evening, and Joseph Roman. Are all members of the Honor Guard. We thank them for their service. And sir, I'll leave the microphone open. If anyone wants to address council, feel free.
Do I need to sign in anything? Okay, I'm Len Young from Monroeville. I want to thank Bob DeMarkey, way back there, for organizing this thing. It was his foresight, I guess, to get it all together. I worked with him behind the scenes as much as we could keep the cat in the bag, so to speak. But I will tell you, I'm not the oldest member of the group, as you can probably tell. But I got to give these guys a lot of credit. I've been with the group about 4 years, and it's just such an honor for me, myself. I'm actually a son of the American Legion. I didn't serve directly. My father was a lieutenant in the Army in Korean War, and it is just such an honor to serve with these guys. Like the proclamation said, we go through all kind of crazy weather, but it's so rewarding because the families usually come out, they'll shake our hands and thank us for being there. And I'm always tickled to say it's an honor to be here. So thank you for the proclamation and everything, and thanks to my comrades here for sticking in there and doing the right thing. I really appreciate it. It's an honor to serve with them, really is. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen, for your service.
Yes, thank you all for your service. Thank you. I'm a daughter of a son of a Legionnaire.
Yeah, it's very fitting that, being Memorial Day month, the end of the month, and also Mother's Day as well, being the Gold Star, being in honor of the mothers who have lost sons and daughter in battle. So we're very proud. This community is very proud of you and what you've done. So thank you so much. And we have, since Len Young is here in attendance, we have another proclamation. It's not for Len Young specifically, but it is Motorcycle Awareness Month. We know Mr. Young is an avid motorcyclist. So, whereas the safety of all Monroeville motorists is an issue of the highest consequence, and all highway users should unite in the safe sharing of roadways throughout the municipality of Monroeville, and whereas motorcycle riding is a popular form of recreation and transportation for the thousands of people across the municipality and our Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. The municipality's thousands of licensed motorcyclists are required to keep their vehicles inspected and obey current laws relative to operator safety equipment. And whereas in efforts to reduce the number of motorcycle crashes and fatalities, the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation encourages all motorcyclists to take advantage of free training courses through Pennsylvania's Motorcycle Safety Program and pledge to be one less crash statistic by visiting livefreeridealive.com. And whereas it is especially important that the citizens of the municipality be aware of motorcycles on our streets and highways and recognize the importance of staying alert, practicing safe driving techniques, and promoting motorcycle safety. And whereas during the month of May, the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation, the Alliance of Bikers Aimed Toward Education of Pennsylvania, and the Pennsylvania Motorcycle Dealers Association will continue their advocacy of motorcycle safety. Therefore, in recognition of the importance of motorcycle safety on our municipality's roads and highways, I, Nicholas Griesock, Mayor of the Municipality of Monroeville, Pennsylvania, do hereby proclaim May 2018 as Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month. I encourage all motorcyclists to continue their efforts to promote safety and motorcycle awareness, and all drivers to share the road and respect the unique safety needs of motorcyclists. We'll sign this into the record as well. And please be aware for those motorcycles. Now, gentlemen, we will give you some time if you want to. You're more than welcome to stay for our meeting. Certainly you may have some better things to do, and but we'll give you some time to sneak out if you wish. But thank you so much for your service and for coming out this
Again.
evening.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
Leon
you all.
Shank.
Thank you all.
Leon Shank.
Leon, that's right here.
Leon. Was your mother Clarence and I knew your mother and father well. Cecilia, yes. Great people.
Thank you.
Hey, Mayor, before we get started, I would like to say something.
Please, yes.
Okay. My name is Tom Wilson, and I have not been suspended for 3 council meetings. I do not play for the Capitals, and I would just appreciate your support for the Penguins tonight. And this Tom Wilson is going to be rooting hard for the Penguins tonight.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Don't break into it.
Wilson.
Yeah.
Very good. All right, folks, we're going to get back to our agenda. Thank you for indulging us with that presentation. We're going to open up the floor for Citizens Night. We are, if anyone is signed in, they can approach council for comments or concerns or remarks on any municipal item.
Nobody signed in?
There's no one signed in. Mr. Johns,
I did sign it. Yes, sir, I did.
the floor is yours.
Thank you. I don't have to get up there, do I?
Oh, I thought you wanted to wait till your report. I saw your name up there, Jim.
No,
I thought you
I'd
wanted to
like
wait till your
to-
report.
yeah,
Okay.
Come
You can do it
on.
from here.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Jim Johns, Monroeville resident. And I'm a stickler about the 5-minute rule, so I'll talk fast. I'm going to ask Mr. Hugus and his staff, I guess, Paul, well, I'm going to address the Northern Pike Hill issue briefly. I'm getting a lot of residents asking me what's going on at the bottom of the hill. They're cutting the road back in. They're going to start timbering. I think a lot of people are aware of that. And I think, Paul, you have a diagram, a chart. I'm hoping that we can put it up here for those of you at home, can maybe get an idea of where they're going and what they're doing. I'm getting so many people asking me where they're going to be cutting trees, how far back they're going on Burt Drives, so on and so forth. And unfortunately, I don't know the answers. So I asked these guys to maybe put up a chart that maybe you can explain it much better than I can, briefly.
Paul Wilden, zoning officer. It's not really a chart. This is the map that was
I'm sorry.
that was provided to us by the property owner and the person that's going to be doing the logging. This is the intersection of Avers Creek and Northern Pike. This is where the bulldozer was sitting, and they cut the road in going
Yes.
up the hill. The existing temple was back over here. So they're going to cut a road in across this hillside, and the area outlined in orange is where the actual timbering is going to be happening. This is Point Circle Drive here, Lawley. It's going to be a select cut, not a clear cut. They submitted everything that the application requires. It was a very complete application. They made revisions. It was reviewed. Everything was satisfactory.
Okay, I appreciate that. I guess some of the questions that people are asking me that live along Burt Drive, they're saying, hey, listen, my house is right there. I have a hill behind me. How close are they coming to my property line? And I said, I don't know. I'll ask you guys, because I don't know the answer.
The timbering ordinance requires a 25-foot buffer, so there won't be any activity within 25 feet of the property lines.
Okay, all right. I appreciate that. So residents, if you can hear me or have any questions, just feel free to pick up the phone and call. If I don't have the answer, I'll get it for you. I hope that
I guess
helps.
the only thing I would add to that is that they are supposed to mark the trees that are going to be removed.
Okay,
So I'm not encouraging the residents to travel onto private property,
right.
but if they choose to look at a tree with a dot on it or a ribbon, it probably is a tree that's going to be removed.
I'll see if
Now,
you,
25 feet is not a far distance.
not very far.
25 feet is from me to the edge of the podium right
Right,
there.
it's not
So
very far.
It's not a very big
Right.
area.
So,
I know the last time we had a discussion, there was issues of identifying where the property line is.
right.
They are not required to establish the property line in the field. It's not required in the ordinance. So, we still may get some of those conflicts.
I understand.
But that's between those two property owners.
Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
So, yeah, so the last thing you just said, Mr. Hugus, so the property owner that is doing the timbering, they don't have to establish the,
They supplied a drawing showing where the property line is. They are not required to show the property line in the field. In other words, they don't have to go out and do a physical survey in the field to show the property line. Now, I am sure they went out and identified it within reason using a GPS unit. There's probably ribbons along the property lines that show where that is, so they know. But it's not a physical survey.
okay.
Thank you. That's, yeah, I'm good. That's, yeah, that's really good. Thank you very much.
And then as far as the big issue is the water runoff. They have an approved DNS plan from the County Conservation District, who has jurisdiction over that type of event. So they do come out and make periodic inspections.
Okay. I think that should help. Thank you.
Very good. I'll leave the floor open for citizens' comments. Seeing none, we're going to close that portion of the meeting, and we're going to move over to our actual agenda-setting meeting. I'm sorry? Pardon me. We have an executive session announcement. Okay, council conducted an executive session for personnel and litigation reasons prior to tonight's Citizens' Night, beginning at 6:15 p.m. until 7 p.m. Council legislative action, if any, shall be taken at the May 8th, 2018 council meeting. Council, if you'd move over to your minutes, what we have in front of you are the Citizens' Night meeting of April 3rd, 2018, the council work session of April 3rd, 2018, the regular council meeting of April 10th, 2018. Any additions, questions, or comments? Seeing none, we'll move over to the reports of our tax collections. Any questions, council?
Yes, sir.
List of bills. Mrs. Gatos, we'll start with you. Do you have any questions for the list of bills?
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Mr. Poach?
Nothing tonight.
Mr. Harvey?
Yes, two things, and I, only because I didn't get a chance to review them in time to call Tim, but, so I'll be quick with this. On page 25, I just didn't know what it was for, Herbert, Roland, and Rubik.
HRG, they are our traffic engineer.
Okay.
Most of those funds will be repaid back probably because of development.
Okay. And then, I don't remember seeing this.
Paul, you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I was going to say, my pages were...
It's, page 25, it's a $12,440
Oh, okay,
bill.
you went by vendor, I'm sorry.
HRG.
Actually,
Traffic engineer?
that will be reimbursed with a grant.
Okay.
It's reimbursed, it's for the traffic signal at West Patty Lane design. It's reimbursed with a grant.
And then the only other one, and I think I know what this is for, but it's on page 57. And it's for $2,500,000.
That obviously is the biggie. That is for our debt service for the bonds that we have to pay back.
Is that a once-a-year payment?
Well, we have an interest and principal payment that we make in May of each year, then an interest payment in November.
There's two figures on here.
Interest.
They
Yeah,
both-
one is an interest and one is a principal.
Oh, okay, all right. And that's all.
Very good.
Nothing, sir.
Mr. Duncan?
No, thank you.
Mr. Wilson? Very good. And there are no budget transfers for this month. Payroll, any questions or comments?
No, sir.
Very good. Bids and proposals. We have 18-1-PAV, our 2018 paving program. Mr. Little.
Yeah, Mr. Hugus and I opened up the bids for the paving program. As council can see on their sheet, we had 9 paving contractors submit. The low bid is from Youngblood Paving of Wampum, PA, for $635,665.75. And Mr. Hugus recommends, as I do, to award them that contract this coming council meeting on Tuesday. And also for the seal coat, fog seal, and crack seal program, we only had 2 bids. We had one from Russell Standard and also from Youngblood. The low bid was from Russell Standard of $1,309,504.94. Now, Paul, if you want to go in a little bit of detail there, that is a little bit over what council agreed to spend $1.8 million for the road paving program this year, and I think we're about $100,000 over.
Yeah, well, first of all, under the paving, excuse me, the paving section, about $73,000 of that is for the paving of the courts at the fields, which was to come out of a different fund, not out of the road paving program.
So would that keep us in budget?
No, it's still, well, here's the problem with
Getting
both.
closer.
With both of these
Yeah.
bids is, as you know, if you went to the gas station recently, the oil index is up. So everything you do with paving, to make it, to transport it, to install it, everything's based on petroleum cost. So that's why the bids are higher than we anticipated. So with them both added together, deducting out the $73,000 for the courts, are still about $100,000 over the budget. So we're probably going to, we'll downsize. Joe can't set a timer. We'll deduct it from the seal code program, taking out the highest rated roads that were on there
To bring us back in budget.
to bring us back into budget.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions, council?
I think we ought to do them.
Is that might sound like a good idea, Paul, given the roads we were talking about and the condition?
Well,
I mean, I'm not trying to put you on the
Right.
spot, but the point is that we weren't very far off. Still a lot of money, but we also are at a much more critical point than we were in
well,
the past.
part of the $1.8 million, we allotted $30,000 of that for the public works preparation, overtime for public works, overtime for
Right.
my staff for inspection reasons. So I don't necessarily know that all $30,000 will be spent. I know Public Works is using a lot of material to doing the preparation
Right.
of the roads. So that's a variable there to see where that actually ends up, and we won't know until they're done. But still, you're 100,000 off the mark.
It just seems like we were at such a high percentage of unacceptable roads now that we're going to be paying catch-up again.
You're right,
Period.
and that's money well spent, I think.
I just think we ought to keep the 100,000 in there. I don't know
Yeah,
exactly.
I agree.
Can I ask a question?
Yes,
Just out of curiosity. Youngblood Paving is doing the paving.
yes, sir.
Okay, Youngblood Paving is not doing the seal coating
That's correct.
because they missed it by $16,000.
That's correct.
Why would they not? Because of, just me as a business.
Well, because there were two separate bids. We bid two separate
No, I
plans.
understand that, but
Yeah.
wouldn't it?
Well, you had to take
My
a-
way of thinking, I'd have called these guys up and said, hey, look, you're doing the paving, why can't?
Well, it's
That's just how I feel.
right, but it's a public opening.
You
It's-
can't do that on a
Right.
public opening.
I do that.
It's a good idea, but you
That's why we don't
can't
have you
do
doing
that.
You can't negotiate after the
Be
bid.
guys in suits coming to see you.
No.
Yeah, guys in dark suits with a dark car.
JJ, you can manage my money.
Okay, I'm done.
But I guess
They were obviously very close. It was $1 million contract, and they
Yeah.
were very close, so.
But I mean, I think he's going to point of conversation between now and Tuesday to take a hard look. Is it really better money spent to think about it because we're going to keep falling behind?
And here's the other caveat with that, is that we actually pay on material that's placed.
Right.
So we collect waste slips, we measure roads, we make sure that we're paying for the material that's actually put down. We go out and measure the roads ahead of time, so we're very close with our bids. But, you may come into play here where you're used a little bit less material than what you
Right.
thought. But there's also the case where you might use
Right.
more material also.
That's what I'm worried about, yeah.
Right.
I just think we should stay on track and come up with the $100,000, even out of the,
I agree 100%.
I agree.
I'm agreed.
I think so, Paul. I mean, yeah, let's.
Well, you got
Yeah.
4 right there, so.
You give me direction.
Yeah.
You give Tim direction, don't give me.
Yeah, we'll give Tim direction.
I understand,
and we'll-
but
we'll
I
get
think
it all-
that direction has
Yeah,
already
pretty
been
clear.
announced.
And we'll
It's
firm
good
this
to have
all
the
up.
conversation, though.
We'll
I
firm
mean,
this up on Tuesday.
Yeah, we don't want to fall behind anymore.
No, we're far enough.
Very good. Any other comments, council?
Thank you.
Thank you for.
Thank you.
Very good. Moving over to our consent agenda, we have some old business. AR Building Company Incorporated, that's the Fox Plan rezoning 18-1-Z. Mr. Little.
Yeah, applicant is requesting rezoning of 4.67 acres of property currently zoned C2 Business Commercial to R5 Multifamily Residential. The properties are located at the end of Fox Plan Road and are identified as parcels 856P331, 856P339, 857A82, 857A78, and 857A72.
oh, that's a lot.
Planning Commission recommends approval. We have already had a public hearing on this. Council tabled this rezoning at the April 10th council meeting.
Joe, could you put that image back up again, Mr. Habala? So just to orient everybody, if you look at your screen, at the very bottom of your screen, off-center where Fox Plain Road comes down near Monroeville Boulevard. There's one little structure, and there's a green field behind it. That's the site that they are speaking of. Thanks, Joe. So we have representatives from AR Building.
Our building, Jack Finnegan, I represent the applicant.
Ray Gusty from Farragut McCarty Gray.
Welcome.
We we understand the public hearing is closed. We don't really want to add anything to that. But if you have any questions, we'll be happy to answer. We have been meeting on the site, cooperating with the individuals that live nearby, and hopefully we can accommodate the needs and so
Is
forth.
that pretty much settled?
We agreed to shift the entrance down away from the residents. We did have a on-site meeting this past Tuesday. We agreed to put some type of a cul-de-sac in at the end of the, at the end of the road here. And the Robinsons were still concerned about their parking issue.
Yeah,
But
there's a driveway, not a driveway, a pad for the car. They don't have a driveway, they don't have anything over there. And by the way, Mr. Arasenko was there.
Well, I don't want to speak for him, but he told me that he thought everything was
Pretty much is.
pretty much it.
Yeah, we had 2 meetings. We had one meeting here, just so council is aware. We had one meeting here in council chambers with representatives. Both these gentlemen were here. The family that had been here previous months that live on that road, they were at this meeting as well. And our staff, we had a full room. And then, they did have an on-site meeting there where they kind of laid some things out so they could get a visual. Mr. Hugus was there, and Mr. Wielden were there as well at the on-site meeting. And it's my understanding that they are moving in the right direction. Certainly AR is willing to work with this family.
Absolutely.
And yes, they were going to provide, I believe, the parking pad, the handicap access. And I believe the parking issue was whenever they had maybe larger gatherings. I don't think it was day-to-day parking that they were concerned about. But once again, just so council's aware and everyone that's listening, we're talking about a rezoning. Some of these issues that we keep bringing up are site plan issues, which that will come back in front of council again. What we'll be considering on Tuesday is the rezoning or the downzoning actually of that area from a C2 to an R5. So does anyone else have any questions for?
I just have a comment. I wasn't here last month, but I want to say I appreciate the work that you guys have been doing with the residents that had the issue. I think as a council, we appreciate to be able to work with our residents, a developer. So I just am happy to see that done.
That's what they're all about. They do
Yeah.
that. Okay, this is not the first time.
Right.
They have thousands.
But I wanted to recognize that, and
Okay.
so.
Thank you so much.
I have a comment.
Yes, Mr. Wilson.
Thank you again for your efforts to accommodate things for the folks. Are you able to accommodate that extra driveway that they were talking about or for
The
guests?
lower driveway?
Pardon me?
You mean the one on the lower end?
Well, I guess you were providing a parking pad,
Yes.
and I guess they were asking for something for additional guests at some other times. Now, are you able to provide that, or?
My understanding of the conversation that day, and there were groups and everybody else standing around and
Yeah,
so forth. Was,
I wasn't there, that's why I'm asking.
That wasn't definite. I don't know that they were sure they wanted. I don't know that Jason, who was there at the time.
So basically what
committed to
you're
that.
doing, you're providing a parking
Parking
pad
pad and a turnaround. Is it hammerhead or
A turnaround.
turnaround? Yeah.
and a what?
I said, is it a hammerhead or a cul-de-sac? It's a cul-de-sac.
Right, but did you mention also a ramp for the wheelchair, or no?
I don't remember.
Yeah, that was part of
They're
That's
getting at
Union.
the-
I thought the Union was
No,
doing
that
that.
was part of the
That's part of it.
pad. I think the way they were
Yeah.
constructing the
Okay,
pad,
okay,
a
okay.
ramp was no longer necessary the way
Okay.
the pad was being
Okay.
constructed.
Well, again, guys, thanks again.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah.
I'll put it on
Looking
website.
forward to good things over there.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
All right.
Thank you.
See you Tuesday.
And moving over to new business, we have Langen Engineering Services with Sheets. Mr. Little.
Yeah, applicant's requesting a site plan approval to demolish and replace the existing sheet store located at the intersection of Route 48 and Route 130. The proposed store is 6,064 square feet, and property is zone C2 Business Commercial.
Gentlemen, if you could just state your names for the record, please.
Ben Hunter. I'm with Langen Engineering, Site Civil Engineer.
My name is Brian Soika. I'm the Engineering Permitting Manager with Sheets Incorporated.
Very good. Welcome.
And that's not a very good playoff beer, by the way.
Oh, I'll show you a playoff.
So, gentlemen, if you want to just go through the project?
Yeah, I'll introduce the project. I think everyone's aware of this store. It's an existing store at the corner of Masad Boulevard and Broadway Boulevard. Currently, there's an existing store that's about 4,320 square feet. You can see it by the outline of the gray. There's going to be an expansion of this store to
But they're not actually showing us.
Joe, go back to
bigger
the
plan.
camera.
There we go.
Thank you.
Very
So
good.
you can see the existing store is the light gray underneath the orange, and the new store is the orange outline. The new store will be a little over 6,000 square feet. We're going to be removing the existing 4 pumps that are located along Masad Boulevard, and we'll be adding 2 more pumps along the Broadway side. The site currently has 31 parking spaces. We're going to be removing the parking spaces that are currently located here and moving them closer to the store, and we're going to be maintaining the existing number of parking spaces for a total of 31. We're also going to be doing improvements for stormwater management. Over in this green area that's currently part of the parking lot, we're going to be increasing the pervious area and creating a small little rain garden bioretention area that's going to assist with the existing stormwater management system, which is actually going to reduce about 1,000 cubic feet of stormwater. And that will bring this site back up to code for the differences between when this store was originally built and the current code requirements.
You have a question. Is that because, is there still stormwater coming off the back end off of the hill? And
Off
is
the
that going
hill.
to accommodate for that?
No, it doesn't go to this site. It's further up on 130.
Okay.
It doesn't affect this site.
What's the light gray again?
This light gray?
Yes.
Okay, so the dark gray is going to be reconstruction of the pavement. So this is where, because of the increased store size, with the site and maintaining accessible parking spaces with the required slopes, we needed to regrade some of this area. So the dark gray is where we're actually reconstructing the paved areas. The gray areas are just going to be mill and overlay. So the whole site's not going to be completely tore up. It's just the areas that need to be managed.
Mrs. Gatos.
Is there anything have to be or going to be done with that hillside behind that property?
We
Well,
are.
I mean, he said further up 130, but I mean, directly behind that is like
Yeah, but what's,
Mount Everest.
Yeah, there's an existing retaining wall
Yeah.
that I know that there's been a history. That's been mitigated. We are not touching that wall in any
Okay.
way. So we are.
You're not even breathing heavy over
Yeah,
there,
we are.
right?
We are not even getting
Okay.
close to that retaining wall.
Because that's
for
in
this
my area, and
project.
that's, you know, I know that I'm very familiar with that store, so that's
the-
the only thing I worry about.
is the purpose to increase the size of the store?
Ted, are you adding beer? To the
Beer is hopefully going to come. Fortunately for me, that's someone else's
Okay.
responsibility within Sheets. My responsibilities are to have this store get remodeled. This is part of we call it a white block remodel program. The age of this store, we had about 65 stores around this style, and most of them, not this one, but most of them were the white fluted block. And I assume most of you probably are familiar with them. But this store hasn't been touched in quite a while, and our brand image has changed quite a bit. So it's time to get this thing updated to our new brand image, and with that, a whole new interior floor plan, interior seating, so that we can offer beer if we can make that happen.
There's not going to be a drive-through at all.
No, we can't make a drive-through happen here, no.
No
Okay.
drive-through,
That's-
no
I didn't think
car
so.
wash.
Yeah, there's a big wall in the back that we
I
don't
didn't,
want to touch.
I didn't think so, but I just wanted to make sure everyone understood that, because I know how happy everyone was when the other one was put in with the drive-through. So,
Well, that's good to hear. No, this store, even though the description says we're going to demolish the whole thing, it's technically it's a major remodel is what it is. The back wall of the store will remain, the side wall will remain. That's about it.
Now, you were
In a lot
removing
of
some
the-
gas pumps, so you have to remove the underground tanks too?
The tanks are good, but we will be replacing all of the product line going from dispenser to the dispenser. So with this, as you can see in the dark gray, this is our tank field. So everything over where the existing canopy is going to be removed, we're taking all of that out, all of the underground piping, and everything leading back to. So, and then everything over here will be new also. The canopy itself will stay. We'll put new column wraps on it, but the structure itself will remain. And then we're going to replace all the pump islands and dispensers and all the product lines as part of this.
Say this, anything you folks do, you do first class.
We try to, thank you.
Yes.
Will there be outdoor seating at this location?
There'll be some outdoor seating, yes. I think right now we have 4 tables shown on the plan. So we'll have 30 seats indoors, and we'll have 4 outdoor, whatever we could fit in there. So, it's 4.
And then if this gets approved, what's your time frame of starting?
I'm looking to pull permits mid-June and get started in July.
And once you start construction, or once you start demolition, how long before it's
10
up?
weeks.
10 weeks, okay.
So we need to get this open before the end of September. So as of now, our schedule is looking for a reopening of September 13th.
Okay, very good.
And you have an elevation.
Yeah.
Do you have a visual picture of what the store's going to look like?
That's
Yes.
You can bring on Tuesday?
It just so happens.
Yep. There it is. See?
So the top frame here, this is the side facing Broadway. It's the longer side of the store. And from this wall here, the dumpster will get new doors, get redressed, but it basically remains the same. So from this wall facing the dumpster will stay. It'll get a new facade on it to match the front. And then all the front will be new. Basically from this point here at the windows on left is a new area that we're adding on, but as you saw from the last plan view, things are coming out towards us with an expansion. So we'll have an entrance way that faces the pumps, it faces Broadway, and then this view is Moss Side, and it'll have an entrance, and this is where the seating will be. These are the windows for the indoor seating. We have, right now, we're proposing 2 cafe tables that are up against the building, under the awnings, and then we have our typical outdoor seating shown there with the umbrellas. We'll still be offering the ice and the propane, same as we have now. But as you can see with this, this is a much different look than what we have down there now. Updates it to our current brand image, and we've found that going back and doing this works very well for us.
You're not changing
Will you be
any
adding
ins and
diesel
outs,
fuel?
are you?
No, the entrance drives are staying exactly the same.
Okay.
Will you be adding diesel fuel for trucks at that point?
There's currently diesel fuel available there. For trucks, no.
No.
It'll still remain as auto. We label it as auto diesel, but it's the same thing.
Right, right.
But it's just not a high flow pump.
Right, right. But the good news is it'll reduce the traffic in and out of there because there's no trucks going in and out of there.
It's basically the same.
It'll be the same, yeah.
Yeah, it's basically the same.
Yeah.
What we've found over the past, this is about my 3rd year in this program. We've been doing this for about 4 years, going back and replacing or remodeling all these stores. What we're finding is we already have a customer base. So it's if you're not coming to Sheets now, you're probably not going to be coming after this. But what we're finding is this is an update for our customers, and maybe get some new ones, but that's not really the goal. We're looking to update our brand image, keep it fresh and current, and hopefully bring beer into it also.
Very good. Any other questions, council?
No, very nice.
No, thank you.
Very
Mr.
nice.
Hugus, any issues with your department?
No, sir.
Very good. Thank you, and we'll
Thank
be
you. We'll see you
considering this on
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Thank you.
We'll see you on Tuesday.
Thank you, guys.
Moving over to motions, Mr. Little.
Okay, council, yeah, we have 3 motions for the meeting on this Tuesday. First one is a motion to authorize to advertise for electronic technician, traffic signal technician position. As everybody knows, Dom LaGorga is our current technician with respect to our traffic signals, and he is verbally mentioned that he is going to be retiring in a year. That's not definite, but he has suggested, as I've talked with Mike Adams, his boss, Public Works Superintendent, that it will be a good idea for somebody to shadow him for an extended period of time, maybe not a year, but maybe starting in October or November or sometime around there. And I thought it would be a good idea to get authorization to advertise for this position if it so pleases council.
I agree.
I'm in.
That's it.
It's-
Yeah.
They're asking for
Any
it.
other comments,
Yeah.
council? And this is way more cost-effective than having a consultant do this or outsourcing this.
Well, I can't say it is or it isn't. I've never crunched the numbers on that. I've talked about it briefly with Mike Adams, with Dom, with Paul Hugas, with other people. There's probably pros and cons to that. With the biggest, when you do talk about this, the biggest thing is the response time.
Absolutely.
For, somebody for traffic control or somebody for Marylise. Those are the 2 names that Bruce and Marylise that come to mind.
This wouldn't just be the light technician. Dom also, he's a foreman and he does.
No, this would be strictly a light
Strictly light?
technician.
So
Strictly
if
a
Dom
traffic
does
light.
retire, you'd have to replace Dom's position?
As a assistant public
Well,
works superintendent?
Well, he's a foreman, but he does the lights currently and also the line painting, the signage.
So would this be another position, I guess is what you're asking? This is a separate position that we're adding to public
I guess
works.
it is.
No, just as a little history to that, as Steve well knows, when Dom was initially hired, he was initially hired just to be a traffic engineer technician to look after the maintenance and the replacement of our traffic lights. And through the years, because of obviously he's a good worker and he's very knowledgeable, he became the assistant public works superintendent. This position has always been under engineering. It has not been under public works. So this is just for
Well, it has for Dom's whole career, correct?
the traffic part, the traffic technician part of it has been under engineering.
So are
When
you saying
Don
it would
first
be-
got hired, he worked out upstairs.
So are
There's
you-
no one under Don that knows how to do what Don does, though. Is that not correct?
Well, Jamie Story has been trained with Dom. However, Jamie has been more so with the MS4 program, doing a lot of work on that, and within the next couple years, he's going to be knee-deep in that.
Right, so you need someone that can shadow Don,
Right.
learn by watching and being with him, and he can teach what he knows, so that when he retires, you have somebody that knows what they're doing with our lights.
Right, so but to Mr. Duncan's point, though, Dom does this, plus he has other duties. So what would this position's other duties be, or would this be
This is strictly for traffic control.
Okay.
is that a full-time position?
But you'd be creating another position then to replace Dom if Dom retires. Dom's
That
doing the
would
work
be-
you're saying of 2 people.
That would be a
Why could
possibility.
this new guy or trainee not also carry on the traffic, the line?
He could. I'm not
Because he
saying
has
he
a
could.
crew.
That's what I'm asking as well.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know, maybe if this is a question for Mr. Little or for Mr. Hughes' department. Is this position a 40-hour-a-week position,
Yes,
just doing traffic?
yes.
Okay.
To do it effectively, yes. And when Dom was originally hired, that's what his sole position was for. The person before him, Chevy's before him, that was their sole position. When we went through the consolidations in the mid-2000s, that's when he was moved to Public Works. And when the foreman retired, when Tut retired, that's sort of when it occurred. It was part of the consolidation plan. I'm not saying it's right, wrong, or different, but that's what occurred.
Okay.
I mean, we have 42 traffic signals in town. There's a lot to maintain.
And that's fine. My suggestion is, though, to keep in mind that if and when Dom does retire, that we replace him, because
I don't think anybody's questioning that.
God knows we need somebody.
Well, I agree with you there.
I think that's, yeah, I don't think
I
that's,
think that's a given.
I think that's a given, yeah.
Well, you're just talking another position, another, whatever the, you're going to have to budget for another.
No,
position.
my point on it, Steve, is that it's not for the Assistant Public Works Superintendent position.
I've never heard that. Dom's a foreman, as far as I know.
Okay, or as a foreman. When this position is advertised and interviewed for, it will be strictly for electronic traffic signal.
Any other questions or comments, council? Okay, Mr. Little, the next motion, please.
Yeah, a motion to hire Campbell, Durant, Beatty, Palumbo, and Miller, PC, as special legal labor counsel. Any questions on that?
We've used them before, last year.
That is correct. Okay, the second one is a motion to award the active transportation improvement bike and pedestrian request for proposal to Pashick MTR for $45,000. As council is aware, 2 months ago, I requested authorization to advertise for this RFP, and we only received one from Pashick MTR, who also did our comprehensive plan. This will not cost the municipality any money because we do have a grant for $45,000, and I wrote the RFP in that fashion. This is for a study to locate bicycle and pedestrian pathways in a safe and efficient manner in Monroeville. And in our comprehensive plan, there is already shadows of that in the comprehensive plan of where bike and pedestrian pathways would occur.
Yes, and just to add, I mean, the county is very much supportive of these funds. It's not like we could have applied these for anything else. The county is very actively doing this across the entire county with these studies. So, and Pashick, working with them with the Joint Comprehensive Plan, they're very well respected in this field. Any questions, council? Moving over to our resolutions, Mr. Little.
Yeah, we have a resolution requesting a Greenways, Trails, and Recreation Program grant of $90,000 from the Commonwealth Financing Authority to be used for the Monroeville Community Park walking trail rehab. We have, obviously, everybody knows we have an asphalt walking trail, and that would be a grant to rehab that and dig up the old trail and replace it with a new one. Same configuration.
Now, who would actually do the paving?
Well, that would have to be bid out.
We wouldn't do that in-house, right?
No, that would have to be bid out. That would be what the grant would be for.
Okay. Any questions, council?
No.
Okay. And there are no ordinances this month, so we're going to move over to our reports of our municipal staff. Mr. Ratcher.
Thank you, Mayor. I've been working with Mrs. Gatos regarding the existing ordinance 2427, which is an ordinance that regulates how municipal vehicles are used, who gets take-home cars, how you get reimbursed if you use your own personal vehicle, et cetera. And in going through that ordinance, it's been discovered that the ordinance doesn't really reflect the way the municipality runs in terms of who's responsible for certain activities. So what's happened here is this is a draft of a revised ordinance that is intended to really just bring things more into compliance with the way that they actually take place here in the municipality, and also to put the decision-making back in the hands of the municipal manager with respect to a lot of these issues, such as take-home vehicles, et cetera, with some input from the department heads. And there are rules and regulations in here and standards for caring for the vehicles, et cetera. So this is a draft. What I would recommend is everybody take this home, take a look at it. If you have any comments or anything that you want to make to me, get them to me. And then possibly on Tuesday night, we would have something that we would call a finished product that council could then authorize to be advertised for action at next month's meeting.
Okay. Very good. So everybody has a copy of that in front of them?
Thank you.
Very good. Mr. Ratcher, anything else this evening?
Nothing else.
Very good. Mr. Little.
Okay, I have a couple things underneath my report. The first is, as I mentioned last month, is the Home Rule Charter referendum questions. On May 15th in the primary, there will be 5 referendum questions on the ballot, and Council and the Home Rule Charter Committee is asking the electorate to vote yes on all of these questions. We have these questions. They are down at the Senior Citizen Center displayed. They're at the library displayed. I have a display I put up here in the foyer outside here today, outside of the council chambers. They're on our website. They're on our Facebook page. And the Trib had an article about a week ago, and there was a link within the article to go to the explanation of the questions. And I'm going to briefly go through the questions so the public understands, and I will, this will be the last time, obviously, before the primary. Question number 1 is about ordinances and resolutions, and it is, should the municipality follow Commonwealth PA law in advertising ordinances between 60 and 7 days before the adoption of an ordinance at a council meeting? Explanation on it is the current Home Rule Charter states that ordinances shall be advertised in a newspaper circulating generally within a municipality after the adoption of an ordinance. The Home Rule Charter Committee and Council believe the public should be informed of a possible ordinance adoption before it will be considered by Council through a newspaper of general circulation in the municipality. Question number 2 is actually 4 questions under budget and fiscal matters, and the first one is about the fiscal year. Basically, it states in the Home Rule Charter that Council can change the fiscal year of the municipality. It cannot. No Pennsylvania local government has the statutory authority to change their fiscal year from the calendar year or otherwise. The power rests with the Pennsylvania legislature. Question 2 under budget and fiscal matter is the payment of funds. This is just basically some nomenclature to be changed, some data processing, the term data processing changed to electronic processing, the term machine signature changed to electronic signature, and the term machine changed to equipment. The explanation is the Home Rule Charter should reflect current technical terms. The number 3 question under budget and fiscal is the capital program. To change language in the Home Rule Charter that reflects administering the orderly growth of the municipality, we want to change that to the orderly management of the municipality. The explanation on that is the municipality is built out with respect to development, and the orderly management of the municipality should be the thrust of the capital improvement program and not the orderly growth. Second part of that is to delete language that defines capital equipment as a useful life of more than 2 years. The explanation is capital equipment does not always have a useful life of more than 2 years. Capital equipment useful life varies from asset to asset. And also adopting of the capital improvement program under ordinance instead of resolution, which would make it more binding. The fourth and last question under budget and fiscal matters is to delete audit language from the Home Rule Charter that has been established through the years by the Commonwealth statutes and other accounting policies. The explanation is the finance auditing of the municipality is performed by a CPA firm each year as required by PA law. The firm files an audit report with the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development before March 31st each year. The audit or comprehensive financial report is published each year in a generally circulating newspaper and filed with the Government Finance Officers Association. The audit practices outlined in the Home Rule Charter were once performed by elected auditors in decades past, but those are now applicable and performed by a professional CPA firm. Question number 3 has to do with personnel. and in the Monroeville Home Rule Charter, should it be amended to more clearly explain the promotion of employees to suitable positions and terminating employees for inadequate performance. Basically, we're changing two items and jumping down to the actual language, promoting employees on the basis of demonstrated performance and suitability instead of potential wording to greater responsibilities and not just responsibility, singular. The second part of that is retaining employees on the basis of adequacy of their performance, correcting inadequate performance, and deleting separating employees whose inadequate performance cannot be corrected to terminating employees for inadequate performance pursuant to personnel policies. Question 4 is about boards, commissions, and authorities and the vacancy thereof. To give public notice through social media instead of advertising in a newspaper of general circulation. You hear council every month talk about the vacancies that we have in ancillary boards and commissions and authorities. Currently, under our home rule charter, that should be advertised in a newspaper, which is very expensive, which would cost us about roughly about $5,000–6,000 a year. The Home Rule Charter Committee and Council, and even myself, believe that advertising that on social media, our website and Facebook, is sufficient. It is nothing that legally has to be done. But keep in mind, this has nothing to do if we have a vacancy on council. The Borough Code and the Home Rule Charter is silent on that issue. If council wishes to advertise, if there's a vacancy on council, they may do that. Okay, the second part of personnel is on the Park and Recreation Advisory Committee, a vacancy there. The Park and Recreation Advisory Board consists of one member residing in each of the 7 wards. It also is one member of a municipal council, ex officio, and also if a vacancy exists for more than 6 months in a given ward, then the council member from that ward shall be permitted to appoint a person from another ward to serve the remainder of the applicable term. The explanation for that is currently under the Home Rule Charter, there are 11 members to the Park and Recreation Board, 7 residents, 1 member of council, 1 member of the Gateway School Board, and 2 members who are high school students appointed by the aforesaid members. The HRC Committee and Council believe that the membership should be reduced to the outlined above 8 members because of this historically unfulfilled number of volunteer positions. And the last is transition, which has to do with the Civil Service Commission. To repeal Section 2207 in its entirety in order to comply with the Court of Common Pleas decision that the Monroeville must adopt a Civil Service Commission, which currently exists, in compliance with language stated in the Borough Code instead of the municipal manager being the Civil Service Commission. The explanation to that is the adoption of the Home Rule Charter in 1976 gave the municipal manager the powers of the Civil Service Commission for the police, those being rules of regulations for hiring, suspensions, and promotions, minimum qualifications to hire police officers, and also the firing of police officers, and also the hearing of appeals. The Police Bargaining Unit filed a lawsuit in 2006 stipulating that the HRC provision of the Civil Service Commission violated Pennsylvania law, stating that a Civil Service Commission should have that power. The lawsuit proceeded to the Court of Common Pleas, which upheld the police lawsuit. However, the initial language given that power to the municipal manager still exists in the Home Rule Charter. And that is an extensive explanation of all of the questions that will be on the ballot coming May 15th. And Joe, I have a sample ballot, which is also, if you could zoom in on that, these are the ballots. There you go. These are the ballots that will be on the, these are the sample ballots that will be on the ballot this coming May 15th. These are also on our website, and they are also on our on our Facebook. And that concludes that section of my report. Number 2 is, just as an FYI, the law enforcement torch run will be on May 29th through May 31st, and will run through Monroeville on Route 22, from the sheets on Route 22 to the Speedway on Route 22 also. This is a fundraiser for Special Olympics. Council, you have in your packet an explanation of that. This actually goes all the way to State College during that time. It starts on the 29th and goes to the 31st, and it begins at PNC Park. Day one will end at the border of Allegheny and Westmoreland County, and the Murraysville Police, my understanding, picks it up at the Speedway here in Monroeville, and they'll take it into Murraysville, and then it'll cease that day and then pick up the next day. And then from there, it'll go to Altoona, and then from there, it'll go to to Penn State. Third item is the Turtle Creek Valley COG is in need of a person to serve on the Uniform Construction Code Appeals of a Board and the Property Maintenance Appeals of a Board. If we have any appeals in those two areas, that goes to that board, which is run through the Turtle Creek Valley COG. They had a resignation, and if anybody knows that anybody wants to serve on that board, they can contact me. My phone number's on the website. Item number 4 is I'm asking for a motion to be placed on this coming Tuesday's council meeting for a study to be done for the proposed Valley Park pedestrian bridge. As most people know, we have a trail, the Westmoreland Heritage Trail, which 9/10 of a mile is running through Monroeville and down near Valley Park. If we had a bridge going over Turtle Creek that connected the trail to Valley Park, that would be great. So we have proposed, which this is through the Westmoreland Park and Recreation Department, from Streamline Engineering Incorporated. I'm not going to go through the whole scope of work, but basically it's a study to put a bridge in there. This isn't for the bridge, it's just for a study, and the study costs $7,500, but the Westmoreland County Park and Recreation Department will split that cost with us, so that would only cost us approximately $3,750. And I'm requesting if I could put that as a motion on this Tuesday's council meeting.
Council, are you okay with putting that on the agenda for Tuesday?
Yes.
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 Very good. Mr. Little.
Okay, the last is hiring of police officers. We have, at this moment, as my conversations with Chief Cole, is that we have possibly 2 police officers who have gone through the testing, and the only testing that is left is the medical and psychological. But we want to be able to have council know there's no action needed to be taken. It's just so council knows we're at the process of giving them a conditional offer based on their medical and psychological tests. That would be for 2 officers. Okay, any council have any questions on that, or?
Council?
I have nothing.
None.
Very good.
Okay, that's and one other comment. My condolences to Carol Olson in the Senior Citizen Center for the passing of her father. And that concludes my report.
Great guy. Ted was a great guy.
Very good. Mr. Hugus, do you have anything to add this evening?
No, Tim used my 5 minutes again this month. I'm good.
And mine, and yours,
Very good.
But
Ms.
thank
Rock?
No, I don't have any.
Very good. And we're going to move over to our reports of our council members. Mr. Wilson, we'll start with you.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I'd like to thank everybody for their thoughts and prayers for my wife. We got a good report last week from the scan, and we're very happy about the results. And again, thank you. I'd like to thank everybody that helped with the cleanup for the Jack and Joan Sedlak in Monroeville 2 weeks ago. My only question with that is I'm trying to understand where the folks that are usually here in the audience complaining about Monroeville not keeping the community safe and clean, but I didn't see one of those folks here. Yes, I did. I'm sorry, I saw David Mintz there. He was present and he participated in the cleanup, and thank you, David. That's all I have.
Very good. Mr. Duncan?
Yes, just quickly, my condolences to the Bob Benton family. Bob passed away last week. He worked for Public Works for over 20 years, and he was a good guy. And on a much, much lighter note, I'd like to congratulate my daughter Ashley and my son-in-law Travis on the birth of our new grandson.
Oh,
Yes.
another boy.
Congratulations.
Now, yeah, Trace.
More work for you, Steve.
Nice.
Number 5.
All right, congratulations.
And girls, that's enough.
Yeah.
And
wasn't 5
also,
minutes.
glad to hear the good news on your wife. And that's all I have.
Thank you.
I'll be
Mr.
brief.
Johnson.
I'll try to be brief. I got some other stuff about the parade, but I'll do that on Tuesday. Real quick about the cleanup, Northern Pike Hill. And myself, along with 9 or 10 other volunteers, have done our 10th trip up and down Northern Pike Hill. We've picked up everything from car parts to bottles to needles. The only thing we haven't found is a dead body yet. I bet you we're close. And I'm going to ask Mr. Little at some point in time, that is a state-maintained road, I believe.
Yes.
We clean it up, but I'll tell you what, if you get down, for those of you that travel, there are big trees laying across wires, there's big trees laying in trees. It's just a matter of time till something's going to come down and crash on a vehicle. And the state needs to get over there and address the situation. There's big logs laying on the side and stuff we can't pick up. Other than that, I'm done. I'll talk to you on Tuesday. Thank you.
Very good.
Good job.
Mr. Harvey?
Just, it's kind of a comment question. I got a call from a couple residents who no longer get the Times Express. Does anybody know why that parts of Monroeville are deleted from?
Still getting it.
I'm getting it.
I'm getting it.
Yeah,
So am I.
It's mailed, Ron, so something must happen.
They usually get their address and then,
He said he called them and they said they're not mailing them to that old William Penn, like from Good Shepherd Church down, and why would they pick just a section of Monroeville?
That's weird.
I don't know. I didn't know if anybody heard anything about it.
That's the USPS.
That's all.
that's it?
Yep.
In reference to my voice, I'm thinking I'm going to hold off until Tuesday.
Very good.
But thank
Mrs.
you.
Gatos.
Thank you guys for giving me your minutes. Okay.
That's not what we said,
I
Mrs. Gatos.
was pretty sure I heard that. Okay, so condolences to Carol at the senior center on the loss of her father. I feel really bad for her, so condolences to her. But if you're having cabin fever, the senior center has so much stuff going on, so I'll do it as quick as I possibly can. Please remember this Saturday is the bingo, $500 jackpot. Friday, May 18th, they're having an ice cream meet and mingle. It would be for any council members, the manager, department heads, 1 o'clock to kind of get to talk to your people without having to come up here. Wednesday, the 30th, 12 o'clock, $6 for members, $7 for guests. They're having a burger bash bingo. May 31st, they're having a trip to Falling Water. That's something they do monthly, different trips. It's $30 for the transportation and the tour ticket. Limited spaces, deadline is May 11th. June's trip will be to Just Stuckey Tour in Pittsburgh. Tuesday, May 8th, 10 a.m., Depression and Aging. That is a brunch and learn. That is always on the third Tuesday of the month. Pre-registration is required. Lastly, Monday, May 21st, 12 o'clock, $6 a person is their lunch and barbecued pork, beans, slaw, fries, dessert. Ticket deadline is Wednesday, the 16th. And happy birthday to my 1-year-old grandson, Jacob, and to my 4-year-old grandson, Cameron. And that's all I have. Oh, and happy Mother's Day coming up in case I forget.
Oh, yeah.
Very good. We'll meet up again before.
We've all gotten in trouble
got
for
that
that one year.
You made everybody nervous. You made all the guys nervous up here. No, we have another week, so.
Just making sure. Just throwing it out there.
Everybody went, holy mackerel, I forgot.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I'd like to thank the Honor Guard for coming out this evening and everything they do for our community and for our veterans. My condolences to Carol Olson. I had the pleasure of knowing her father, who was also a veteran and a very good man, and he'll certainly be missed. Cleanup Day, great job with Mr. Sedlak. I know he doesn't do it for the recognition, but Joe does a great job every year and organizing everything. I know he certainly has help within the municipality, and big thanks to everybody that came out and supported the cause. Congratulations to Mr. Duncan, who keeps getting older, more grandchildren. Very good. And then lastly, on Tuesday, we'll be notating that May is Lyme Disease Awareness Month. That something that the Commonwealth recognizes, and this is also a national event. Mr. Fitzgerald has declared that or proclaimed that for the county, Allegheny County, and we'll be doing that here for Monroeville. Lyme disease is Pennsylvania is the #1 reporting state for Lyme disease over the past 6 years. It is a terrible, debilitating disease, but it is preventable. And One of the things we're going to be doing, and one of the challenges that we talk about to raise awareness, is the Take a Bite Out of Lyme challenge, which is an educational challenge and a way to raise awareness for the disease. And what it is people, they will state a true fact about Lyme disease and tick-borne diseases, and then take a bite out of Lyme. So I'll be challenging my colleagues up here to that on Tuesday, so we'll look forward to that during my report on Tuesday.
Are you bringing us the limes?
I will bring the limes.
Thank you.
No tequila,
I don't do
Mr. Harvey.
tequila.
This is actually,
No tequila.
But we will definitely be doing this on Tuesday.
Do we each need to research our own facts?
I will
You're gonna
bring,
give us-
don't worry, I'll supply everything.
Thank you.
Very good. And with that, I will seek a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you and good night.
Good night.